It was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life, but it turned out to be the worst. After hours of labor, I finally brought my beautiful baby boy into the world. Yet, instead of celebrating this milestone with my husband, I found myself alone in a hospital bed, clutching my newborn as tears rolled down my face. My husband, Desmond, had been acting strange for months. At first, I thought it was the stress of preparing for the baby. He worked long hours and seemed distracted whenever we talked about the future. But as my due date approached, his absences grew more frequent, and his excuses started sounding rehearsed. The day I went into labor, Desmond dropped me off at the hospital, muttering something about a work emergency. I begged him to stay, but he brushed me off, promising he'd be back before the baby arrived. Hours passed, and still, no sign of him. The nurses gave me sympathetic looks, but no amount of pity could fill the gaping hole his absence left in my heart. After giving birth, I called Desmond repeatedly, but his phone went straight to voicemail. Desperate, I called my sister, Anita. She had always been my rock, the person I turned to when life got hard. But when I called her, she didn't pick up either. Something felt off, but I was too exhausted to dwell on it. 2 days later, I was discharged. My best friend, Clara, offered to drive me home since Desmond was still unavailable. As we pulled into my driveway, Clara hesitated, her expression uneasy. "Are you sure you're ready for this?" she asked, glancing at me nervously. "Ready for what?" I asked, confused. She didn't answer, but her silence spoke volumes. I stepped out of the car, clutching my baby, and walked into the house. What I saw shattered me. Desmond and Anita were in the living room, wrapped in each other's arms. They froze when they saw me, their faces a mix of shock and guilt. My knees buckled, and I nearly dropped the baby. "What's going on here?" I screamed, my voice trembling. Desmond scrambled to his feet, stammering excuses. Anita stood there, avoiding my gaze, her face red with shame. "I can explain," Desmond started, but I cut him off. "Explain. You abandoned me at the hospital, left me to deliver our child alone, and this is what you were doing." "With my sister?" Anita finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's not what it looks like." I laughed bitterly. "Not what it looks like. I think it's exactly what it looks like." Over the next few days, the ugly truth unraveled. Desmond and Anita had been seeing each other for months. It started as harmless flirting, they claimed, but it quickly escalated. Anita, who had always been the more outgoing and confident one, admitted she had feelings for Desmond. I was blindsided. Anita had been my confidant, the one person I trusted implicitly. How could she betray me like this? And Desmond, the man I had built a life with, had not only betrayed me but had done so at a time when I needed him the most. The betrayal left me hollow, but I had no time to grieve. I had a newborn to care for and a broken heart to mend. Desmond begged for forgiveness, claiming he still loved me and wanted to make things right. Anita, on the other hand, distanced herself, too ashamed to face me. I decided to leave. Staying in that house, surrounded by memories of our life together, was unbearable. I moved in with Clara, who became my pillar of strength. It wasn't easy, but day by day, I began to rebuild my life. I filed for divorce and sought therapy to heal from the emotional trauma. Slowly, I found solace in my son, who became my beacon of hope. Months later, Anita reached out. She wanted to meet, to apologize. I agreed, not because I was ready to forgive her, but because I needed closure. When we met, she broke down in tears. "I don't expect you to forgive me," she said, her voice trembling. "What I did was unforgivable. But I want you to know I regret it every single day." Her apology felt sincere, but it didn't erase the pain she caused. I told her as much. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Anita. You didn't just betray me, you betrayed our bond as sisters. But I need to let go of the anger, for me, not for you." Over time, I found peace. Desmond's pleas for reconciliation fell on deaf ears. I focused on raising my son, creating a life filled with love and laughter, free from lies and betrayal. Anita and I remained distant, but I no longer harbored hatred for her. She made her choices, and I made mine. This journey taught me the importance of self-respect and resilience. While I may never forget what happened, I refuse to let it define me. My son deserved a happy mother, and I was determined to give him that. In the end, betrayal broke me, but it also made me stronger. And as I looked into my son's eyes, I realized that was all the closure I needed.